Welcome to another Friday Face-Off here at the Hockey Think Tank. Our Fridays are sponsored by Titan Battle Gear. And if you heard our podcast recently with the founder of Titan Battle Gear, you know why we are so excited with what they are building. Titan is changing how players think about their base layer protection. It's Velcro-free, breathable, lightweight, and made with the highest rated cut resistant fabric on the market. It's no wonder that they've recently become an official partner of USA Hockey to help advance player safety. This is definitely the gear that we want our athletes wearing. Hockey Think Tank listeners get 15% off at TitanBattleGear.com/GMBM. Let's go.
Hey-o, let's go. All right, Vex, I got a fun one for us here today for Friday Face-Off. And I've heard this saying twice in our last two podcasts that we've done. And we've talked about it a little bit, but I think it's got to be something that we got to talk about more. And it's a word to describe a player. And that word is rink rat. Okay. The word is rink rat. And we interviewed Jay Hardwick, head coach of War Road High School Hockey in Minnesota. They just won their state championship. And then it's not out yet, but we also just interviewed Chris Pronger, Hockey Hall of Famer. And he used the term rink rat when we just spoke to him. And I can tell you that as a former college coach, a lot of my job was figuring out information about kids and talking to their coaches and asking them about what they're like. And whenever anybody told me this kid is a rink rat, that excited the ever-loving hell out of me. Okay? And so I want to talk about how to develop more rink rats, because being a rink rat, first of all, I'm going to ask you to define it, and then let's talk about how we develop more of them. Okay? So Vex, let's talk about rink rats. What is a rink rat?
Me as a child, for sure. I would go to the rink and be there all day long. My mom did work at the rink for a few years for a junior team in their office. I was at the rink, and that just allowed me to be at the rink for like 6 hours a day during the summer, just running around, stick handling in the lobby, shooting in the back, getting on the ice, just anytime I could be at the rink. My dad would go ref. I would go with him, and I was there to watch him ref, but I usually was just running around the rink, I just love being in the rink. Like you're soaking up the atmosphere. I'd be playing video games in the rink with the little video game cutout thing. And then I'm getting food, and then I'm doing skating, and then I'm doing lessons, and just people who love being around the rink. You see those kids and they're the kids who are obsessed with the game. And like Toph always talks about, if you're obsessed with the game, you're probably going to be somebody who's more likely to maximize their abilities, because you're looking to do anything you can and you love the game so much. You just want to do it. And if it's not ice hockey, you're playing knee hockey. And if it's not knee hockey, you're playing lacrosse, because it's like hockey on outside, so for me, it's just somebody who's obsessed with the game and can't get enough of being in the hockey environment.
Love that. Okay, so how do we develop being a rink rat? How do we make more rink rats?
Well, I would zoom out even further, and I hate all these new rinks that always say no stick handling in the lobby. Now, as somebody who owns gyms, and in my lobby, I wrote no stick handling, but that's because in the back you can stick handle. So it's you go to the back and stick handle. You don't do it in the lobby where you can break all my stuff. But I wish rinks would designate an area for little kids to play in, and I know it's different. It's a different world.
You're not maximizing profit if you're doing that.
Yeah. And suing everybody. And I get it. Everybody's worried about being sued. And it's so annoying that that's the world we live in. But we used to be able to run around with sticks in the lobby, and we used to be able to, shoot tennis balls, and kids are running and sliding and playing games. And that's what the rink was like. It was such a cool and energetic place to be. So I don't know if rinks can set aside a little area where it's you can play ball hockey in here. You're not allowed to use pucks. You can only use a tennis ball. You can even provide the tennis balls, so they're not using things that are going to mark up the walls and stuff like that. But with the over professionalization and the privatization of youth sports and stuff like that, I think we need to bring back kind of rinks being the place where, kids run around and they're able to be a little bit loose and free.
Where everybody knows your name.
Do. Yeah. How many that kind of feeling?
Yeah, I totally. How many people have we had on the podcast that fell in love with the game who had like an older brother or an older sister that played?
Yeah.
And I think about, like being at the rink as a younger sibling and, your brother or your sister's playing the game and your parents have no idea where you are. They're running around and they're playing ball hockey or what they got a sibling group and they're just doing their thing, like I totally agree. There's something so magical about that. And as you were talking about the rink stuff, like I think like there's a lot of rinks that have like maybe like a meeting room or a meeting area. Get like fold up tables and fold up chairs, and put them at one, like on one of the walls and designate that little room. Don't put anything that's breakable in there, like have a sign, like play at your own risk. Again, I don't know the legality.
You could have like a QR code that scans that you sign a waiver to. I have that at my gym. It's super easy.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. And just let them just go be, like how do you fall in love with the game through unstructured play? Right. Like that's, whether it's on the pond, whether it's in your basement, on the driveway, during, stick and puck type rat ice, people even call it rat ice. And it was really cool. Like when we interviewed Jay Hardwick a couple weeks ago, Gigi Marvin, who is from Warroad, she literally has a school in Warroad or like a hockey camp that's called Rink Rat Hockey School. And I'm like, that's like what hockey should be. Yeah. Like, again, like I think about every quote unquote elite, not quote unquote, actual elite player that I've had that have gone on to do great things. Like the one consistency is they love hockey. They absolutely love hockey. And I actually think this could be profitable for rinks because as we both know, like the more and more rinks are becoming for-profit privatized rinks. They should have like a 3 to 4 o'clock ice slot that you sign up, you pay, I don't know, $200, maybe it's $500, depending on where you live. And that ice for the year, it's yours. Whoever wants to can go out on that. You can work on your skating, you can work on your shooting. There's going to be kids out there of all different abilities, and it's just unstructured, and you let the kids figure. That's what developing rink rats is all about. And we don't have a lot of it now because everything is so scheduled and everything is so structured for all these kids. But you talk to anybody like that's played in the NHL, like from like years past, like why were they so good? Because they had that ice available to them. And they fell in love with the game through that unstructuredness of being at the rink, right? So like, yeah, man, like I said at the beginning, if I'm a college coach and I heard a youth coach or a junior coach tell me that a kid is a rink rat, that meant something to me. That meant that kid loves the game, that kid loves being out on the ice and wants to get better. And those are the kids that ultimately succeed, and end up transferring all those skills to the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level.
100%. You say it all the time. Like it's, I don't think people realize like how true that is.
It's not just the line, guys. Like this is obviously something that like we believe in, but like we see it. Like Vex, the kids that love the gym do better in the gym.
Yes.
The kids who love hockey are better at hockey, like for so many different reasons.
So then you keep zooming out and you're like, well, how do we get more kids to have that type of love? Well, okay, well, let's think about how we structure gyms, rinks, locker rooms, practices, our whole model for youth hockey. If we know that that's number one of the most important things of like a character attribute of higher level hockey players, and that's your goal, then reverse engineer it. Always start with, what is the goal, and then reverse the steps backwards and figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah. And rink rats are not kids that are force fed the rink, like you have to go and do a million different skill sessions and this and that. And no, that's not a rink rat when you're forced to go to the rink or you're always scheduled to go to the rink. A rink rat is somebody that comes up to you as a parent and is like, hey, let's go, or you're going to the rink for something else. Hey, can I come? It's their, desire to go and do it. And those are typically, honestly, Vex, like those are typically the kids that are first on, last off type of kids too. They're always on the ice working on their game before practice. They're always on the ice playing rebound or doing little competitions with breakaways or keep away with, how it goes, like at the college and pro level. Like those guys are typically the best players on the team. The ones who are just, they just love being out on the ice, and they don't even have to be getting better. They don't have to be working on anything. They could be playing rebound, or they could be doing breakaways on goalies or whatever. Like, they just love being on the ice. So we got to create conditions, like you said, environments. And I like what you said from a design standpoint. How can we design things at the rink? How can we design our locker rooms? How can we give them a little space where they can play little ball hockey type stuff? That stuff matters, man. Like that design. Yeah.
It really, really does. I mean, I even see it in my own gym. Dude, I spend so much time, energy, effort thinking about this stuff, and then, spend money trying to come up with ways that make my gym a special environment, a special place. And I used to do it when I didn't have any money. And I'm not saying I'm rich now, but I can invest more back into my company now. But like, I used to do the same thing with $0, just some ingenuity and stick-to-itiveness. Stick it to the man, neosis, if you will. And
like, that, and you have bad body odor.
And so, what a movie! If you guys haven't seen School Rock, you need to. The kids who I train who don't see School Rock, I'm like, get out of my gym right now. Leave. Don't come back till you watch that in the Sandlot. But yeah, but we can be doing like little things that don't cost a lot of money that can make these places special. And guess what? The more special the rink is, the longer the players are going to play. And guess who's going to want to come back and put their kids in hockey? Those same players that found the rink special, like Topher and I, right? So keep finding ways to develop that passion and the love for the rink and the game.
Develop rink rats, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, time is up. 10 minutes. Happy weekend. We love you. Time is up.